Welcome back, guys, to the Pest and Lawn Ginja, and this is what's wrong with my lawn. So right now it's just me and Joe. We're gonna walk through Joe's lawn here, say hi to everybody at home.
Hello.
We've been having some problems with the lawn. So step number one in what's wrong with my lawn is we always do an initial walkthrough. So that's what we're gonna do right now. All right, Joe, why don't you walk us through? This is the front lawn, right?
Right, front lawn.
So it sounds like from the conversation that you and I are having is you're just a little bit frustrated because you feel like it's a little bit hazy. So from what you've told me, the lawn is recently new, went in September. And you can see it's green, but overall we get on top of it and you'll start seeing some of these inconsistencies of color and things kind of going on. It's not that Better Homes and Garden look. So let's transition over to the backyard here.
I think this is as a result of doing less watering.
Okay.
To see if maybe the roots will go in deeper.
Okay, so you were testing it out and trying to stress it out a little bit.
Right.
So you're pretty well aware that it's lack of water back here.
Right, so that's what happened back here.
Okay. So where's the property line? Is it these trees?
Well, I take care all the way to the sidewalk.
You do all the way to the sidewalk?
Right.
Okay, good to know. What are kind of your concerns in the backyard?
Well, over here, there's some of that, some of these.
Man, that just pulls right out.
Not sure.
Okay, so a lot of time people get worried about this, and this is actually the seed head from the grass. So you can see you kind of slightly dehydrated it, so it's a little bit white. And that's pretty common. Now, if that came white right out of the gates or kind of yellow, then we'd have an annual grass called POA. But in this instance, it's just slightly dehydrated, and that's pretty common.
But it's still...
Dude, you're stealing my thunder here, Joe, doing the pull test for me.
I've been watching your videos.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Get in there.
Yeah. And then
All right, well, let's just do that step right now. We'll skip to that step. We'll do the pull test right now. So let's have you go through, and let's take our bear claws, and let's start tugging on the lawn. Now, Joe is off of work. What do you do for work, Joe?
Work in a surgery center, so
Sweet.
make sure we have all the medical supplies.
All right, Joe's saving lives.
Yeah.
Nice, loving it. I just want you about every 6 feet. I want you doing a little tug.
Yeah, I think right here it's really loose.
Okay.
If you pull on it, it'll...
Oh yeah, look at that. So now's where we want to go to our discovery, right? And we want to really just get in here. And we want to see if this is just an issue with shallow roots. Because you can see we've got a lot of root rot here. And it's just really shallow, almost as if the roots just didn't take. And that's pretty common with sod, especially if you get some of these cheaper sod farms where they're just giving away pallets because the pallets have sat there for too long. The roots tend to curl back upwards. So I've got a fix for this. Best thing that we could do in regards to this, since we're really not seeing any evidence of bugs, but the best thing we can do is to aerate it a couple times over and to put some new grass seed down.
Okay.
And that's realistically going to be the best thing that we're going to want to do in this situation, because we're really not finding evidence of turf insects.
Right, I haven't seen it.
I would dare say that we could start overseeding in the next 2 weeks as long as you can get it wet and we can keep it nice. Now this area, when we see these random patterns, we know something's going on here. Color wise, when we see this kind of brownish haze to it, that typically is going to insinuate lack of water. The pattern around it where it's stressing usually insinuates lack of water. Where my dysfunction is you see that white on the tips when we get in here?
Okay.
This is typically going to be herbicide damage or that Ascochyta fungus that I've done a couple of episodes on. And just want to take a closer look at what's going on. And you can see it's just kind of making some weird patterns. Let's see. And this is where it gets fun for me because you've really got to dive in here. Now, Ascochyta usually holds itself within the debris, and that's exactly what this is you can kind of see. It's a form of leaf blight. Okay. So we want to do a pull test here. As you can see, no bugs, right? But then we're going to take our thatch rake and we're going to lightly rake this out, and believe it or not, it'll come right back within about 7 to 10 days. So it looks like at one point this was lack of water, and then putting too much water in it got the Ascochyta fungus going. So we've got a couple of random things going on. So that kind of does it, Joe, for our little walkthrough, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I think what we should do now is just grab the soil probe, start probing around, make sure our water is spot on. Now, watering is 70% of our service. So we want to make sure the water is just spot on.
Okay.
Now, the best way to do that is to set up random cups, like size, like tuna cans,
Right,
or you can get range gauge meters like I've purchased online.
Okay.
Run a 20-minute cycle, and then you put a measuring stick in the cups to see how much water was in there.
Okay.
Now, if you take that math of 20 minutes and multiply it by 3, that will tell you your hourly output. Now, for our region, we need 2 inches, well, 1 3/4 inch to 2 inches of water per week, just to keep up with evaporation at 100 degrees at our altitude.
Okay.
And so, like, I've got really low flow heads. I'm watering like 2.5 hours, where the average guy would water 50 minutes per station, 2 to 3 times a week.
Right, right.
So figuring out our water output is going to be the biggest and best thing that we can do, especially since we're seeing leaf blight. We really want to make sure that we get the water under control.
Okay.
It's not super common for us to find leaf blight in Utah, but our humidity levels have been way different this year than I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, coming from Texas, this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is light humidity.
For us, this is crazy.
Right.
Right. We usually get a real dry heat, keeps me nice and dry. I put the sunblock on, I stay nice and pasty. You know?
Right. That's what I was taught about Utah, but
pasty people?
Well, the humidity.
Get that soil probe out. Let's just kind of probe a few of these areas, see where we go.
Okay.
So in one plug, we've got a thatch head of about 1/2 inch, which this is what I was telling you about from the sod farm. I think that the sod sat dry for a little while.
Right.
Because the thatch is really building fast. And the roots are pretty thin, like we just don't have a lot of activity down here.
Right.
It's the problem. But you can see we've got clay in my hand, and then on this other one that we have in Joe's hand, it's pure sand. Yeah. So at one point, we know that the builders backfilled and they put this sand. So here's the rough thing we're gonna have. Clay holds a lot of nutrients. This sand here, it just doesn't. And so monthly treatments are going to be the best thing that we can do to this lawn in order to do that. But it's interesting seeing that the roots are shallow.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
We are getting some downforce root growth, but it's just not a significant amount. But you can see in the sand, though, a lot more. Goes. You can see 5-6 inches down on the sandy soil, which is on your parking strip, a lot better. But the other ones are real shallow.
Okay.
So we know primary causation right now is the sod installation.
Okay.
Secondary issues, watering. Since it's been in here, we just need to get that fixed.
Okay.
But let's transition to the backyard real quick. Well, Joe, the soil probe has spoken. All right, so the interesting part is everywhere from the deck on over here is being underwatered. It sounds like you did that on purpose, though.
Right, I did that because of the roots.
Which, honestly, that was probably a good thing to do, because you have Ascochyta and you have melting out fungus traveling through here. Okay. The melting out fungus is right here, and you can see firsthand the lawn is melting out. You can see on the left here, these left petals in my hand, they're melting out, and that is the fungus. The roots are curling back upwards, as you can see. They're not going down. So that's kind of our main problem here. But as we get right here, it starts getting wet all the way back, real wet. And that's our primary issue, is the melting out is coming from here, and every time you mow the lawn, those fungal spores are spreading everywhere. So you drying out the lawn wasn't that big of a deal. It was actually a good thing to do.
Okay.
One thing that I would say, though,
we took it a little bit too far. Like when I say slightly dehydrate, I don't want to see it browning out quite the way that it's doing. Okay. I just want to see the stressors occurring, kind of like in this section right here. So you can see where you're standing right there.
Okay.
See how it's just kind of telling you, hey, I need some water?
Right, right.
Our soil probe indicated that there was less than an inch of water in that area, and that's where we want to be. The tough part is for you, though, the roots are shallow.
Right.
And I'd like to blame this on turf insects, but we're not finding any.
No.
Whatsoever. So water management is just going to be our #1 priority right now.
Okay.
Now, the hard thing is, just like you were describing to me, we've got this section over here by your trees, which you were telling me the city is in charge of the sprinklers.
Right. City controls the area by the sidewalks.
Right. And if we come over here, in this section, it's clearly being overwatered. I mean, you can feel it on your feet. And you can see the melting out fungus all throughout here. The soil probe that I pulled is just sopping wet. Like it's real wet. And so no surprise here, I pulled a 15-20 inch plug.
Right.
I mean, it was way too much, and getting into the grass, it looks like it's dry, but it's just melting out. All right, Joe, can you tell me which of the 5 steps we've neglected so far?
Watering.
Oh, we just did that.
Oh, okay.
With the probe test. Color. Well, it's pattern, color.
Pattern, color.
Water saturation test. You skip to the pull test.
Right. Pull test.
Number 4 is a debris test.
Okay.
So we got to go back to that. Having a lawn this new, though, it's not common to find debris. Okay. I mean, having a lawn that you just put in September,
right,
unless somebody was improperly mulching from day 1, we shouldn't find much.
Okay.
But like I always tell everybody at home, let's not guess, let's do, and let's check it out.
Okay.
Well, Joe, sometimes I hate to say it, but I'm right. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. So overall, my suspicions are we've got a leaf blight fungus and we have melting out, and both of which are usually caused by thatch. I took all this out from here to here. That's it, right? But it's a significant amount. The thing that bothers me is your roots are so shallow. We're pulling a lot of it out, but it's just dead.
Okay.
You know, not a big deal because Kentucky bluegrass is going to self-repair, but shallow root issues. But we go from the piles that I took, every single one of them is equal.
Okay.
It's just a lot of debris. The reason why I say that I hate that I'm right is because shallow roots, one of the hardest things to fix next to too much thatch.
Right. Okay.
In a lawn. Your lawn is newly established, so when we're running the Thatch Rake, what's happening is we're actually pulling a lot of the grass up, both live and dead. So what I did is I pivoted it to a 45-degree angle so that we're pulling more of the debris rather than the living.
Right.
And we're pulling a lot. So let's go through my 5 steps. We know that overall, would you agree with me, that we have an overall issue? It's pretty uniform across the board.
Pretty much.
In the backyard, it's kind of masked because you dehydrated the lawn.
Right.
But overall, we have a consistent just kind of haze going on.
Correct.
So the coloring, when we get into the coloring, we've got white tips, but then we've got kind of that melting out happening.
Okay. Right.
Both indicators of fungus. So pattern, fungus, and water was pretty even across the board, even where you dehydrated it from where it was being dehydrated.
Right.
So we know that your watering is pretty okay across the board. But the leaf blight, the melting out are both indications of too much lawn debris. So the pull test also tells us no turf insects. So our issue is really just the lawn debris. Okay. That's how we filter it down into that funnel on what's wrong with my lawn.
Right.
Right? Now this is kind of surprising because you just put the lawn in September.
Right.
But yes, this has got to come out. So I'm going to make you a deal, Joe. You come up, you can grab my Greenworks or my son, Joe.
Okay.
I'm going to let you do it.
Okay.
You can even borrow my extension cord. But I feel kind of bad. Luckily, your lawn's not huge. We've got, what, 2,000 square feet of grass?
Something like that, right?
Somewhere around there. So this isn't too bad. But Joe, you got a lot of work going on, buddy. We just need to find the right level, because if we pull the power rake through this whole thing is just going to be obliterated.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
Right.
It's the worst job ever. It's the worst, Joe. All right, Joe, let's get this thing loaded so you can have the worst day of your life. Yeah, it is light. It feels like a Fisher Price toy. It might feel like a piece of crap, but it does the job.
Does the job.
Heck yeah, it does. All right, squeeze on in here, Joe. That grass feels good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Wish mine looked this way.
Oh, it's going to. I was just telling people, man, it feels like butter when you get on it.
Yeah, it's
It
really
just
nice.
feels different, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
silky and smooth.
Nice
But
and soft.
I want to go over the game plan with you real quick.
Okay.
So in the front yard, we know that if we run the Sunjoe right now, it's going to just tear. So we want to slightly just turn off the water for like a day or two.
Okay.
See if we can stiffen it up just a little bit so we're not just ripping through it. Now in the backyard though, we want to do the opposite. We're going to put some water back into it.
Okay.
Now, after we get the debris out in the front yard, we're going to slightly dehydrate it for another 3 days.
3 days. Okay.
Yeah, so we don't want it to brown out and go dormant. We don't want it sleeping, but we want it to dry out.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is put some granular and force some growths, just some ammonium sulfate. We're going to force some growth.
Okay.
That cultural control of drying out the lawn is going to take care of the Ascochyta. It's also going to take care of the melting out. That should zap it and getting rid of the excess debris.
Okay.
So that's the plan. After that, we're going to let all green take control and just fertilize on a regular 4-week basis. And as long as your watering's on point, we should be pretty good.
Okay.
Well, if any of you guys want a lawn like mine, just keep watching my videos. Until the next time, guys, this is What's Wrong with My Lawn?